Hey, what's going on everyone? Pretty Common here. So I'm going to be doing a major review on these alternation parts over here, as well as our 2 tickets to pick from the event page over there. Or that will be later on after I go over these. So we have the Hakushi Key over here, we have a Tall Geese 2 and a Gundam Fusion over here. So I'm just going to be talking about what do I think are the most optimal parts to slap on for your probably your sub-slot parts. Your main part should still be a I would say limited to sokai parts, if not probably some standard capsule parts, but they should definitely be your sub-slot, because even if they receive their alternation, they still does not push it beyond a 4-star one of those standard capsule pool units. So we're gonna first start things off with the Hakushi Key. So head is obviously a no-brainer. You don't want to alternate that. Yeah, you don't want this, like, no. Stat wise, not even compared to like a standard capsule unit's head, so that's a no. So for this one, the top part is like non-existent. That is like if you're facing, I don't even know what are the chances you're gonna face against a ace exclusive enemy. Even if they do, they should have some sort of like indication for us to like tell. Well, if you do know the whole, like if you are really familiar with the part, you might know. But like, what if a new player doesn't really know, like, oh, does this enemy I'm facing out, does it have ace exclusive tag on? You don't know that, so there has to be an indication for that, because a majority of the parts for the Hakushi Key has this kind of feature. So this is like no. And look, and the stat we're gaining from that is like abysmal. So, but the bottom part is really good. If you're rocking a shot range unit, this is gonna be your best run over here. We're gonna be getting a whopping 30% to your shooting power, so that's nice. I'm gonna skip the arm. You guys probably, this one is like let's first take a look at the Warthog. These 2 Warthog are obviously gonna be for your shot range build over here. So why would you want a melee EX over here? So this one is a nope. Moving on to the leg. The leg, I believe, is bad as well. Why would you want a, I mean, if you're rocking like a bazooka type weapon, like, still, this is like, why do they even exist? And then with speed attribute, shooting crit rate up by 30%. This one can be good at times, but like, that's really depends on like how high your crit is to begin with. And with that being said, this one is like a no. And then we have the backpack. I think the backpack was yeah, you see, it's one of those, like if you're facing the ace exclusive enemy or you're facing that Warthog enemy, then you get the boost. So what if you don't face off one of those Warthog enemies, and you don't get anything. And then you have a chance base kind of portrait over here, which is not good at all. So this one is another hot skip. But the beam saber, I actually used the beam saber way back on the first battle circuit. This one came in really clutch. I was able to like easily beat 2 of those grunts with just one EX skill. This one does have a pretty, if I recall, I haven't used it in a while. If I recall, it has a pretty wide range once you execute this. So this one is pretty good to alternate, I would say. Moving on, this is probably the star alternation parts to get. We have when attacking with beam, EX skill power boost by 25%. That's really good already. And then on top of that, when you're using a mid shooter pilot, you're gonna be getting that initial cooldown reduced by boosted by 20%. So that's really nice. So it's pretty easy to get a mid shooter job pilot. So this one is a no-brainer as well. This is probably the one you guys should get first. And then the double, what is this? Okay, so this one's the dual wave. For the this one, yeah, this one's probably a skip too, even though it packs pretty good stats. But if you think about how versatile this weapon will be, probably can't take it into our 6th battle circuit, because this one is doing physical shots, and it's not that the physical shot is not doing as much damage, but most It literally say the six battle circuit is mainly towards beam oriented, so this one is like a hot skip already, so you can skip this one. Moving on to the Hologies, we have a offensive EX skill over here. So I think this one is probably, if not the highest we have in terms of buffing. So this one only buffs yourself, it doesn't buff your squad. So this one is pretty good when you're taking on I believe there's always that one lap in battle circuit that always says you like deal other damage, you get a 200% up. So this is how you do it. So you use buff EX skill to get your shot damage or your melee damage up. So this one does both, so this one will come in handy whether you're doing a melee centric battle circuit or a beam or a range centric battle circuit. So this one is pretty good for alternation as well. Moving on to the chest, what are we doing here? Again, I don't know why they're doing this, like when you're facing off certain enemy. This one is no, but the bottom part is pretty good. You're getting a shooting power boosted by 30% if you have T attribute, so this one is good. So probably most of the time you're gonna have one of the two trait active, which is like you're better off with like doing some, if only if you have sokai parts, because most of them do have alternation. But these right here are geared towards like free to play players or like new player that want to get some good parts to start out with. So for like woes and whatnot, these don't really concern them as much. And then we have a, what is this? So this one is the arm plus shield, and then the EX skill does pretty good spread over here. I actually have never used this, the EX skill, so I can't rate on like how good it is, but you can always slap this on as a sub slot, because if you just match these two Warthog with like any arm, this is how the stats gonna get. Because when you sub slide apart, it doesn't matter if you have a shield with it, it doesn't it's a sub slot, so it doesn't matter. So this one give a pretty sizable defense stats to your whole suit. So this one is, wouldn't say I would recommend it, but this is a good option. Moving on, what are we? Again, when you're facing off a certain Warthog enemy, come on now, why? And then with T attribute, EX skill penetration reduced by 28%. I don't know how I feel about this one. This is probably like, if you do like, I don't actually know how this like the penetration would work for on this game actually. Like how is it, because like the wording of it is like, is it when you're doing like physical damage, like physical EX skill, or like if you're doing range? So this one is like I don't know. This one, you guys can clear me up on this one, but I wouldn't go for this one as of now until I get like clear idea of like how the mechanic actually work for that part trait. I'm pretty sure you guys do know, and do let me know, so you know, it can clarify me as well, you know. And then we have another one, so only if you're facing up for space enemy, then you get the other part, which is like, why are they doing that? The bottom part is pretty good, so if you can activate both of them, you're getting a pretty good shooting and melee power boost. So the bottom part is good. You can activate that conditionally if you're using T attribute, which is pretty good over here, pretty sizable jump. And then now moving on to the fusion head, no brainer. You don't want to be getting these, hot skip. And then what is this one? What are we doing? Okay, it's a bit of a longer cooldown time, but it might come in handy. But these are a little bit too long. Even if you pair, these would probably be used on like power circuit, in my opinion, because like on you guys' build, you guys are probably using some like shiny new parts, like the Sokai's part or whatnot. But these one, the cooldown time is a little bit too much for me actually. Yeah, just too long. So this one is a skip. And then we have the arm. This one actually doesn't have a lot of part trait. It has a lot of EX skill. What are we doing here? A minus and B minus. This one probably a no as well. What are we packing for the leg? We're just looking for those EX skill like these over here. That's like even though it's like a D pierce, but like a level 10, it should pack some sizable damage. Comes in at B plus power, should be pretty good in terms of damage wise. Never actually used it, I believe. Have I used any of these parts? I probably have, but just don't remember. The backpack now. What are we doing? Oh, this one is good as well. So both the leg and the backpack has a pretty good cooldown seconds. I would say only 21 seconds at max, so that's pretty good. And then what is this? So this is also decent as well, but I don't hardly anyone ever rocks these hammer type or like the axe melee weapon, so this one probably will not be a top pick as well. And then the last thing we're gonna go over on the alternation page over here will be this. So defense shot, enemy shooting power reduced by 25%. So this one can be good if you're doing like a, for example, like 3v3 arena. You can slap this onto your other either one of your ally units, and then this will be pretty good. And then the bottom part, what is this? Job gauge increase. So if you guys do have the left arm job gear, this will like probably nullify it, because I think if you have it at level 3 initially when you come into the match, you're pretty close to filling out your job gauge, so this will like do no good at all. So, and then I think this is it for the alternation page for the warfare unit. Okay, so we are at the blueprint event blueprint page over here. So for the purpose of this going towards for the Bowser kit, I'm gonna be skipping all the physical EX over here, because it's not gonna do any good for the Bowser kit. The 6 Bowser kit is geared towards a beam centric team, so any of the physical damage will not do as much damage. So as like a free to play player or like new player, these parts should not be the one you guys should pick up. And then the chest over here is a pretty top pick, I would say, if you want some EX skill cooldown reduced by 20%, so you can get that early start with EX skill. This one will be a good choice as well. And then what do we have here? So if you're using physical, attacking with physical, you get a shooting power boost by 25%. Pretty nice for a sub slot, I would say. Slap that on, and if you have a lot of like those magazine style, like what is it, the small missile shield from either the Sasabi or the Senenju, one of them has the small shield EX skill, so that would be pretty handy. And then the head obviously is like not onto the RX-78 yet. This one is no. So we're gonna skip the head. Obviously we don't want to get that. So with saber category, melee power boosted by 30%. This is pretty good. Easy to activate because there's a lot of good saber category melee weapon, and you can just slap that on as a sub slot and it'll be pretty good. What is the arm doing here? This one is no already. What about this one? This one's probably a hot skip as well, actually. Even though it gives like a 20% to like shot attack, but this one is mid shot attack, so no, probably not a good choice. So this one is the double saber rushes, B minus. Probably not a good choice, but if you guys are slacking some parts for like the Bowser kit and you need some beam weaponry, this one might come in handy. But for the backpack, it should most likely be suited with like the cutscene EX skill, so this one might not be the best fit. And then with the beam saber, what is the beam saber doing? Crit rate, no, probably not. The beam javelin, this pack a pretty good EX skill, yeah. D pierce, A minus power, pretty good. This one, only if you're slacking some parts for the Bowser kit. And then this one, yeah, the cutscene. This one is pretty good. Does give your squad a health restoration. I think this one has alternation, if I recall. because the R72 has 2 versions now, so I don't recall if this is the newer or the older version. So this one does give your squad a health restoration and a shot buff. Pretty good. If you only pick this up, you are lacking some cutscene E skill. This one can be a good option as well. Then the hyper bazooka. What were we doing? Yeah, this one is no good. Aesthetic boost is no good. The range is too small. Like if it was like even any static boost is just no in general. What are we doing? This one, this shield standalone would have been good because this one geared towards if you're doing some EX skill effects, like if you do awakening, you activate your cutscene EX skill, gives the effect, so that will help as well. But otherwise, this one is not good at all. Moving on to the Shaolin Gundam, so I was gonna skip the head, skip the chest because all Wing Gundam series has that cell detonation, so we're gonna skip the chest. Moving on to the arm, like I said, this 3 weeks battle kit is geared towards beam damage, so these physical are not gonna be your friend at all. Even the spread is it's an A+, so it's gonna do some good staggering, but D power is gonna be output is gonna be really low. Let's offer a 19% to both offense and defense. I can say it's okay. Moving on to the leg over here, we have so this one is a pretty good choice over here if you guys are looking to get that CD reduced for your EX skill. So we have a beam weapon EX skill over here. This one actually is pretty good as well. Deep pierce and A- power. It should pack some sizable output as well on the early stage of the browser kit, but later on for like the backpack, I think most cutscene EX skill does gear towards the back or the legs, so that one would be a top choice. And then what are we doing over here? This one, the timer is too short. Like if I'm not mistaken, here's how this works. Like you start the match, before that 15 timer counts, like these will activate, so after that like 16 seconds pass, this would just be nullified. So this one is no. And then lastly we have the shield. We are doing A pierce and D power. This one is this one I tested these kind of like spread. These doesn't pack any good output at all, so this one is a hot skip. So probably you want to, if I want to pick something from this batch, I'll probably pick something that has some EX cooldown. Those should be pretty helpful for like arena and as well as like any of your other build. So if you guys are lacking some EX skill, do pick up the beam weapon 3 ones. Those will be pretty good to use for battle circuit. So with that being said, hopefully I was able to cover the part as good as possible, giving you guys a good selection of like which one to pick. If the review is not as like, if I did miss something or something should be like said or whatever, like something is not correct, do let me know down in the comment section. I am still learning, So yeah, with that being said, I'll catch you all in the next one.